Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started. It's a Bible reading party. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh.
One thing or another, right? There we go, there we go. Good morning, good morning. Okay, everything's plugged in. Good, good, good. Good morning. I need to get back to the chat. I think I can hear myself. Let me make sure. Uh, Hold on one second. Good morning, good morning, good morning to everybody coming in, especially to Eva Frazier, who's the early bird in the room. I'm pretty sure you can hear me, but I want to log in and see what it looks like just to make sure. Oops, I forgot which channel I'm on. There we go. I'm pretty sure you can hear me, but I want to log in. Yep. Let's see. All right, doing good. Doing good, doing good. So I'm going to put my phone right about here and got my Bible ready. Got my Bible ready, New Believer's Bible Compact Version. And I also have my Bible dictionary ready. So we're going to get this party started. We're going to get this party started. Get this party started. It's a Bible reading party. Yeah. Let me know if the audio's good since I'm a little bit doing something a little bit different today. Obviously, I'm in a different place. I'm in my kitchen today. I'm in my kitchen today because I needed to do some work online. And I just needed a different environment. I needed to get out of the space that I'm usually in. I had to switch it up. This should be a screen share for you guys of where we are at My screen share is not working lately. I gotta do stuff manually. I don't know why. But either way, here we go. This is the screen share of where we're at. Today is the last day of week 23. It is the last week of week 23. And I'm going to be reading 1 Kings 4, 5, and 6. As you can see over here on the right side in the yellow-orange box, 1 Kings 4 through 6 is the last portion of the reading. On the left and on the right, those are the checkpoints that we have read. And I think there's only one left. So tangled in a tree, that was that Absalom? I think that was Absalom that got tangled in a tree and was killed. 1,000 sacrifices was covered yesterday. That's what King Solomon did at the temple. Actually, I don't know if he actually did it or if he was dreaming that he did it. But in either case, he made 1,000 sacrifices and offerings. And in exchange, the only thing he really requested from God was for wisdom. He requested for wisdom. The two mothers, that's the story of the two mothers, the prostitutes that were living in the same house together. They both had given birth to a child. One had accidentally rolled over on the child. It died in the middle of the night. She switched it with the other mother, new mother. And when they brought the issue to King Solomon, wise King Solomon, he came to the conclusion that we'll split the baby in half and you can both have half of one. And of course, the real mother, who truly loved that child, said, go ahead, give the baby to her. I'd rather the baby live. And through that wisdom, he was able to figure out, oh, she must be the real mother. The fruit of the Spirit is what we read in Galatians 4. Actually, it was 5. Galatians 5. It was in Galatians 5, talking about what is leading you. What is leading your life? Is your sinful nature leading your life, or is the Holy Spirit leading your life? And if you're letting the Holy Spirit lead your life, those are considered the fruit of the Spirit. So that was the checkpoint there. And I guess the last checkpoint is the cedars of Lebanon. We're going to be reading that today. Got to be reading it today. And yes, this is the cover of the book, in case anybody's curious as to what it looks like. It's called A Woman's Guide to Reading the Bible in the Year, a life-changing journey into the heart of God. And the author is Diane Stortz. I'm pretty sure you can find, if you're a man and you want your a different type of Bible study, I'm pretty sure you can find a man's guide to reading the Bible in the year too. But this is just what I happen to pick up. So that's what I'm using. And yeah. I don't know why, but my hot buttons are not working. There we go. That one is working. Just my screen share button is not working. All right. So I'm back. Welcome to my kitchen. I think I've recorded almost everywhere in my house. I don't know if I've recorded in here before, but I had to get some work done. As you guys may or may not know, I'm working on a book. I'm writing my first book, and it's actually coming along quite easier than I thought. But sometimes if I get kind of stuck, I just need to get into a different place in a different space. And I usually work in my room, which is comfortable. Sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone. And so what I did is I brought my laptop out to my kitchen. That's pretty much it. I brought my laptop out to my kitchen. This must not work anymore. I'm trying to set up an extra light for you guys. Maybe I don't need this extra light. I had to get into a different environment so I can be not so comfortable, because I start getting sleepy in my room. and I stopped working as much as I need to, and I've got an issue with my laptop where it has to like be plugged in a certain way, or else it turns off. You guys remember when that happened to me? What, last month? I was in the middle of I was either in the middle of a Bible reading. I think I was in the middle of a Bible reading, and it just shut down because I thought it was plugged in and powered on, but I was losing power because it had wiggled loose. So I don't like to lose. I don't like to move this laptop too much. And so since I was out here working yesterday, I said I'm gonna leave it right there, and I'm gonna just do my Bible reading tomorrow in that same spot. And so here I am. I got my setup right here. All I really need is my Bible and my dictionary and a flat surface, which just works out fine. Anyhow, yes, as I was saying, Eva Frazier is the early bird in the room. It is now 7:16 a.m. Central Standard Time. It is Sunday morning. Happy Sunday. It is June 7th, 2020, and we are at the end of week 23 of reading the Bible. It says Kings 1 through 3, but it should actually say 4 through 6. So I'm going to change that right now. Kings 4 through 6. Okay. And as I was saying, we got good morning everyone from Eva Frazier. I hit the like button from Eva Frazier. Tuned in with no problems. Hey, from Eva Frazier. I'm the early bird from Eva Frazier. You're very loud and clear. That's good. I'm glad it's not too much of an echo because in my room there's carpet and other soft things to dampen the sound. And in my kitchen we got hard floors and a lot of hard surfaces. So I'm glad you can hear me. Good morning, 40 fam from Nicole. Bless the like button from Nicole. Good morning from Laverne Dorsey. Good morning from Life of Key. I'm here. Morning from The Wiz. Working outside the box from Nicole. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I love my little box, but I had to get out the box. A change up is always good from Eva Frazier. Good. I'm glad you guys approve. Yeah, as soon as I get done today, I'm probably going to jump right back in and start working on my book. Because it's easy. It's easy. All you got to do is just like I had my little outline. I brainstormed. I came up with all these ideas. I put in a little outline. And now I'm just going line by line. Each of those little lines on the outline, I'm writing a little bit. Go to the next line. Okay. Oh yeah, I want to talk about that. Write a little bit. It's easy. It's just you got to be consistent. And like I said, I was getting a little too comfortable in my room. A little too comfortable. I had to switch it up. I wish the libraries were still open. I'm really productive in the library because it's just different. It's brighter, it's lighter, it's quiet, and you can't really get comfortable in the library. You have to be at a hard surface. The chairs are hard, and well, not real hard, but you know what I'm saying. It makes you focus. So hopefully this will help me get a little further in my book today. Thank you for those 4 likes, and yeah, let's get started with picking it up where we were yesterday. That's like working from home. You have to dress like you're leaving for work when you're home. Yeah, you got to put yourself in the right mindset. You definitely have to put yourself in the mindset because, well, I do have on pajama bottoms. And so I am kind of in a lounge kind of a frame of mind, but at least my environment is different. You do have to work on your mindset. You do have to work on your mindset. If you're in your room, subconsciously you might start thinking, oh, I need to be relaxed, I need to get comfortable. You start leaning, then you start sliding, and before you know it, you're laying down, and you're just like, well, I'm already in a position, might as well close my eyes. This is what happened yesterday in First Kings. This is what happened yesterday in First Kings. David, good old King David, king number 2. You guys did not answer the question from yesterday. I think you guys fell asleep. It was a pop quiz question that I popped up for you guys. And I was saying, at this point, how many kings have we had for Israel? Nobody knew the answer because you all were either showering or working or sleeping. But the answer was 3. The answer was 3. Samuel was the first king. No, not Samuel. I'm sorry. Samuel was the priest. King Saul was the first king. David was the second king at this point. We're in First Kings, the book of First Kings, but we're actually on king number 3. We're on king number 3, which is the grandson of the first king. And so, chapter 1 of yesterday was talking about David in his old age. Adonijah claims the throne. You guys remember who Adonijah is? Adonijah is one of David's sons, but not the one that was supposed to be crowned and taken over for David. He was older than Solomon, but Solomon was actually the anointed one to take over. So Adonijah kind of said to himself, I'm going to make myself king. I'm going to make myself king. I'm going to go sacrifice some animals over here. I'm going to get some of my homeboys. We're going to celebrate, da-da-da-da. And of course, word got back to Bathsheba, who went to who went to David and said, didn't you promise my son would be the king? Because your other son's over there celebrating already. Excuse me. So Nathan the prophet got together with Bathsheba and said, look, this is how we're going to handle it. This is how we're going to handle the situation. Take your son, put your son on David's mule. You know, that's significant right there. This is David's mule. Anybody look around and see that mule, they're going to know that's the king's mule. Why is this person on the king's mule? Must mean something. Go down to this certain place, was it the temple? Make these sacrifices. You've got Nathan the priest, you've got this bodyguard, you've got somebody else, I can't remember who it was. And then you will be anointed there. When you come back, we're going to sit you on the throne. Can't get more symbolic than that. You're on your daddy's throne. You've got Nathan the priest, these people who are close to King David. And after this, you've been anointed and you're coming sitting on the throne. And then we're going to celebrate the right way. Of course, throughout all this celebration, Adonijah hears this. What's all that noise out there? What's going on? They said your brother was crowned the king. What? And everybody at his banquet party celebrating with him was like, yeah, I got somewhere to be, man. I got to go. And they wanted to scatter because they didn't want to be associated basically with trying to usurp what was going on. So let's see. David makes Solomon king. That was in chapter 1. David's final instructions to Solomon. So Daddy David was talking to little sonny Solomon and said, look, son, this is what you need to do. Follow the Lord's word. Follow the Lord's word and keep those laws of Moses. You do that, you'll be all right. And there's something else you need to know. Oh yeah, basically David gave Solomon the go ahead because there was a lot of backstabbing, a lot of underhandedness going on in David's time that he didn't do. He didn't clear it up. He could have, taken care of a lot of people, David. But he said, you know what, son? Follow the law, be faithful, and all those people that you saw doing me wrong and doing the kingdom wrong, I'll let you handle that on your own. And so Solomon ended up cleaning house. Solomon establishes his rule in chapter 2. We had some folks folks on the run, like, let's see, was that Joab? Joab. He ended up dying or was killed. First, actually, Solomon's brother was killed too. Adonijah, he had the nerve to ask for his now deceased father's, we'll call her a caregiver. We'll call her a caregiver because there was no sexual relations going on. Remember when David, he's like, oh, I can't stop from being cold. I can't get warm. So they found this young girl basically to lay next to him, warm him up, take care of him. There was nothing sexual going on, but it was his caregiver. So, after Solomon became king, Adonijah went to Solomon's mom, was like, hey, why don't you ask your son to give me dad's, basically nurse? Okay. So Bathsheba went and asked Solomon, your brother wants your daddy's nurse. Why would he ask me something like that? That's basically asking me to give up, give up my position. So Solomon said, with Adonijah, Then it was with Abiathar the priest. Was it Abiathar? There was like 3 or 4 people that got killed yesterday. That's all I know. Joab. Let's see. Shimei. Shimei could have got away. Shimei could have got away. That's the guy that I said he got put on house arrest. Solomon said, "I'm going to build you a house right here, and as long as you live, you better stay in that place." Well, Shimei had some slaves run away to some place. I think it was Gath. He went, recovered his slaves, came back. When Solomon found out, he was like, "Didn't I tell you you were not supposed to leave?" So he got killed. And then in chapter 3, Solomon asked for wisdom. This was the point where he did 1,000 burnt offerings. That night, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream and said, "What do you want? I will give it to you." And Solomon asked for wisdom. Right after that, there was that other checkpoint with the two prostitute women coming in with one dead baby, one live baby. What do we do about it? Whose baby is who? And he settled that quite nicely. And of course, in chapter 3, when Solomon asked for wisdom instead of a long life, instead of victories, instead of riches, he asked for wisdom, and God gave him all of those things. So that's that. All right, let's catch up with the chat, and then I'm going to dive into today because all of that was just a recap. All of that was the recap. The color is so beautiful and bright. You think so? It's different coloring. I actually have different lighting in here. This lighting is a lot more warm. This is a warmer light, and the light that I usually warm with is like a straight white light. So yeah, it is different. It is different. I'm glad you guys can see me nice and clearly. Yay! Chapter 4. But first, Capri Sun. This live stream is not sponsored by Capri Sun, but Capri Sun, you know where to follow. You know where to find me. Capri Sun should be featured at every Bible reading party. That'll be my shameless plug for them if they ever decide to sponsor me. This is chapter 4, talking about Solomon's officials and governors. Showing your shoes, governor. All right, Solomon's officials and governors. King Solomon now ruled over all Israel, and these were his high officials. Azariah, son of Zadok, was the priest. So we got the priest over here. Elihoreph and Ahijah, the sons of Shisha, were court secretaries. Okay, so we got those two. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was the royal historian. I think I would like to do that, be the royal historian. I like to read and do research. So that's 4 people now. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was commander of the army. Now we got 5 people. Zadok and Abiathar were priests. That's 7. Azariah, son of Nathan, was in charge of the district governors. That's 8. Zabud, son of Nathan, a priest, was a trusted advisor to the king. Ahishar was the manager of the palace property. Adoniram, son of Abda, was in charge of the labor force. That's 11. Solomon had 12 district governors who were over all Israel. Oh, I must have missed somebody. I counted 11. Azariah, Elihoreph, Ahijah, Jehoshaphat, Benaiah, Zadok and Abiathar, Azariah, Zabud, Ahishar, and Adoniram. Who am I missing? Or maybe that's just talking about the officials, because I think the next part is talking about the governors. So those are the official people that were really close to Solomon and was helping him either manage the property, managed the labor force, managed the army, managed the court, the secretaries. Okay, so those are those 11 people. I guess Solomon would be 12. If you think about it, Solomon would be 12. But these are the 12 district governors outside. Solomon also had 12 district governors who were all over Israel. They were responsible for providing food for the king's household. Each of them arranged provisions for 1 month of the year. These are the names of the 12 governors. Ben-Hur. Hey, that's a movie, isn't it? Ben-Hur in the hill country of Ephraim. Ben-Deker in Makaz. Shealbim. Let me see. Ben-Hur in the hill country of Ephraim. Ben-Deker in Makaz. Shalbim, Beth-Shemesh, and Elon, Beth-Hanan. Beth-Hesed in Arabuth, including Soko and all the land of Hefer. Oh, I think I'm confusing some of these names with the places that they're in. Hold on. Ben-Hur in the hill country. Ben-Deker in Mazak, Shalabim, Beth-Shemesh, and Elon, Beth-Hanan. Ben-Hesed in Araboth, including Soko and all the land of Hefer. Ben-Abinadab in all of Naphoth Dor. He was married to Taphath, one of Solomon's daughters. Baana, son of Ahilud, in Tanakh and Megiddo, all of Bethshan, near Zarethan below Jezreel, in all the territory from Bethshan to Abel Meholah and over to Jokmeam. Ben-Gaber and Ramoth Gilead, including the towns of Jair, named for Jair of the tribe of Manasseh, in Gilead and in Argob region of Bashan, including 60 large fortified towns with bronze bars on their gates. Ahinadab, son of Iddo, in Mahanaim. Ahimaaz in Naphtali. He was married to Basmath, another one of Solomon's daughters. Baana, son of Hushai, in Asher, and in Aloth. Jehoshaphat, son of Paruah, in Issachar. Shimei, son of Elah, in Benjamin. Gaber, son of Uri, in the land of Gilead, including the territories of King Sihon of the Amorite and King Og of Bashan. There was also one governor over the land of Judah. And in verse 20, we're talking about Solomon's prosperity and wisdom. I know that was a long list of people, right? That's the part. I think those are the parts when I start to lose people, because all these names and cities start to sound alike. Ben, Geber, Ramoth, Akinab, Edo, Mahanaim. It's like I'm speaking a foreign language, right? Technically, I am. These are Hebrew names. I don't know if I'm pronouncing them exactly correctly with the right Hebrew pronunciation, but these are Hebrew names. So in verse 20, we're talking about Solomon's prosperity and wisdom. Who wants prosperity and wisdom? I do. The people of Judah and Israel were as numerous as the sand on the seashore. They were very contented with plenty to eat and drink. Solomon ruled over all the kingdoms from the Euphrates River in the north to the land of the Philistines and the border of Egypt in the south. The conquered peoples of those lands sent tribute money to Solomon and continued to serve him throughout his lifetime. The daily food requirements for Solomon's palace were 150 bushels of choice flour and 300 bushels of meal. Also 10 oxen from the fattening pens, 20 pasture-fed cattle, 100 sheep or goats, as well as deer, gazelles, roe deer, and choice poultry. Solomon's dominion extended over all the kingdoms west of the Euphrates River, from Tipshah to Gaza, and there was peace on all his borders. During the lifetime of Solomon, all of Judah and Israel lived in peace and safety, and from Dan in the north to Beersheba in the south, each family had its own home and garden. Solomon had 5,000 stalls for his chariot horses. That's a lot. Oh, he had 4,000 stalls for his chariot horses, and he had 12,000 horses. Boy, oh boy. I think you can maybe fit 2 horses in a stall, right? I think, or can you only put even if you have 2 horses per stall, that's 2,000 stalls. That's either one huge barn or multiple barns. Wow. Verse 27, the district governors faithfully provided food for King Solomon and his court. Each made sure nothing was lacking during the month assigned to him. They also brought the necessary barley and straw for the royal horses in the stables. God gave Solomon very great wisdom and understanding and knowledge as vast as the sands of the seashore. In fact, his wisdom exceeded that of all the wise men of the East and the wise men of Egypt. He was wiser than anyone else, including Ethan, the Ezrahite, and the sons of Mahal. He-Man. It's either Haman or He-Man, but I see Heman. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I wonder is that where they got this from? I'm telling you, you got to read it yourself. This is chapter 4. Chapter 4, verse 31. I'm saying it's He-Man. He was wiser than anyone else, including Ethan, the Ezrahite, and sons of Mahal. He-Man, these are the sons of Mahal. He-Man, Calcol, and Darda. His fame spread throughout all the surrounding nations. He composed some 3,000 proverbs and wrote 1,005 songs. What? That's right, Songs of Solomon, right? I know a lot of the Psalms were written by David, but I forgot about the Songs of Solomon. Let's see, we got Chronicles. We got Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms. You guys like my Bible ASMR? Can you hear that? Pages turning. Biblical ASMR. Hold on. I know it's like right after Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. Here we go. The Song of Songs. Song of Songs. Now I feel like I read in another Bible it says Song of Solomon. Yeah, Song of Songs. The Song of Songs is one of the most unusual books in the Bible. On one level, it is an expression of pure love, as God intended it, in marriage. On another level, it symbolically speaks of God's love for his people and their love for him. It definitely says the author is Solomon. The date written unknown, but the genre is poetry. Yep, Song of Songs. So anyhow, I said that because it says here that King Solomon, composed 3,000 proverbs and wrote 1,005 songs. I did not know the proverbs part. He could speak with authority about all kinds of plants, from the great cedar of Lebanon. Checkpoint. He could speak with authority about all kinds of plants, from the great cedar of Lebanon to the tiny hyssop that grows from cracks in a wall. He could also speak about animals, birds, small creatures, and fish. And kings from every nation sent their ambassadors to listen to the wisdom of Solomon. What? So he was a botanist, he was a biologist. He was a very wise man. That is the end of chapter 4. Wow, you can only ride one horse at a time. I know that's right. Yeah, but he had the army too. The horses were not for him. The horses were for the army, because it said he had so many. He had 4,000 stalls for his chariot horses. These horses were for chariots. You know, when they're getting ready to go to war and conquer some people. He had 4,000 stalls for his chariot horses, and he had 12,000 horses. And who knows how many army people he had. Who knows how many army people he had that Benaiah was commanding. Benaiah was the commander. Commander Benaiah, son of Jehoiada. Yeah. She said, you can only ride one horse at a time. True, very true. Let's see. I didn't know David wrote songs. Yeah, David, the harp. David was the one that was playing the harp and singing songs so that Saul would calm down and chill out before the madness overtook him because he was dealing with all these issues, depression, and anxiety. Some of it, was kind of because of David. Like, man, this dude, I let him into my household. He's more popular than I am. He's had more military victories than I have. He wants my daughter. My daughter wants him. He's handsome. He's strong. He's talented. Yeah, David was writing a lot of those psalms. But I guess like father, like son, right? This is chapter 5. Chapter 5. Preparations for building the temple. King Hiram of Tyre had always been a loyal friend of David. When Hiram learned that David's son Solomon was the new king of Israel, he sent ambassadors to congratulate him. Then Solomon sent this message back to Hiram. You know that my father David was not able to build a temple to honor the name of the Lord, his God, because of the many wars waged against him by surrounding nations. He could not build until the Lord gave him victory over all his enemies. But now the Lord my God has given me peace on every side. I have no enemies, and all is well. So I am planning to build a temple to honor the name of the Lord my God, just as he had instructed my father David. For the Lord told him, your son, whom I will place on your throne, will build the temple to honor my name. Therefore, please command that cedars from Lebanon be cut for me. Let my men work alongside yours, and I will pay your men whatever wages you ask. As you know, there is no one among us who can cut timber like your Sidonians. When Hiram received Solomon's message, he was very pleased and said, praise the Lord today for giving David a wise son to be king of the great nation of Israel. Then he sent this reply to Solomon. I have received your message, and I will supply all the cedar and cypress timber you need. My servants will bring the logs from Lebanon mountains to the Mediterranean Sea and make them into rafts and float them along the coast to whatever place you choose. Then we will break the rafts apart so you can carry the logs away. You can pay me by supplying me with food for my household. So Hiram supplied as much cedar and cypress timber as Solomon desired. In return, Solomon sent him an annual payment of 100,000 bushels of wheat for his household and 110,000 gallons of pure olive oil. So the Lord gave wisdom to Solomon just as he had promised. And Hiram and Solomon made a formal alliance of peace. Then King Solomon conscripted a labor force of 30,000 men from all Israel. He sent them to Lebanon in shifts, 10,000 every month, so that each man would be 1 month in Lebanon and 2 months at home. Adoniram was in charge of this labor force. Solomon also had 70,000 common laborers, 80,000 quarry workers in the hill country, and 3,600 foremen to supervise the work. At the king's command, they quarried large blocks of high-quality stone and shaped them to make the foundation of the temple. Men from the city of Gebal helped Solomon and Hiram's builders prepare the timber and stone for the temple. Ooh, hard work. No trucks, no cranes, no caterpillar, diggers, all by hand. Wow. And that is the end of chapter 5, actually. Nope. No comments? No questions? All right. Moving on to chapter 6. Solomon builds the temple. It was in the mid-spring, in the month of Ziv, during the 4th year of Solomon's reign, that he began to construct the temple of the Lord. This was 480 years after the people of Israel were rescued from their slavery in the land of Egypt. The temple that King Solomon built for the Lord was 90 feet long, 30 feet wide, and 45 feet high. The entry room at the front of the temple was 30 feet wide, running across the entire width of the temple. It projected outward 15 feet from the front of the temple. Solomon also made a narrow recessed windows throughout the temple. He built a complex of rooms against the outer walls of the temple, all the way around the sides of the rear of the building. The complex was 3 stories high, the bottom floor being 7.5 feet wide. The second floor, 9 feet wide, and the top floor, 10.5 feet wide. The rooms were connected to the walls of the temple by beams resting on ledges built out from the wall. So the beams were not inserted into the walls themselves. I'm curious, what does this look like? I'm pretty sure they had some type of architectural standards back then. But I don't know. I don't know about going up on the second floor. Like how did they even know? I mean, how did they even know like load bearing and different architectural things to make sure that it was stable? Oh my. Did you guys know that there's a billionaire, a current day billionaire, that built Solomon's temple? Interesting. So this is what I get when I look up Solomon's temple. And this is a Wikipedia picture right here. That's that Wikipedia picture there. Hopefully you guys can see both of those pretty well. I'm going to go back to verse 14. Actually, no, I'm going to go back to verse 2. Chapter 6 and verse 2. The temple that King Solomon built for the Lord was 90 feet long, 30 feet wide, 45 feet high. The entry room at the front of the temple was 30 feet wide, running across the entire width of the temple. So I guess that's this area right here. There's like this entry and then the actual temple. It projected outward 15 feet from the front of the temple. Solomon also made narrow recessed windows throughout the temple. So we got these little skinny windows right here, skinny windows right here. He built a complex of rooms against the outer walls of the temple, all the way around the sides and the rear of the building. So you wouldn't be able to see that, but I'm assuming where all these windows are, that's where those rooms are. Rooms are all along the outside, and probably the center part of that building is like a big hall or some meeting place, maybe. Let's see. Verse 5, verse 6, the complex was 3 stories high, the bottom floor being 7.5 feet wide, the second floor 9 feet wide, the top floor 10.5 feet wide. The rooms were connected to the walls of the temple by beams resting on ledges built out from the wall, so the beams were not inserted into the walls themselves. The stones used in the construction of the temple were finished at the quarry, so there was no sound of hammer, axe, or any other iron tool at the building site. That's interesting. That kind of reminds me of a Japanese way of building. There's a Japanese form of architecture where they do not use nails. They don't use nails. They cut the pieces just perfectly in a way that they fit together like a puzzle piece. And as you're stacking them on each other, it holds itself in place. But I don't remember the name of that style, but there's a Japanese style of architecture where they don't use nails. And this is reminding me of that. The stones used in the construction of the temple were finished at the quarry so that there was no sound of hammer, axe, or other iron tools at the building site. The entrance to the bottom floor was on the south side of the temple. There were winding stairs going up to the second floor, and another flight of stairs between the second and third floors. After completing the temple structure, Solomon put in a ceiling made of cedar beams and planks. As already stated, he built a complex of rooms on 3 sides of the building, attached to the temple walls by cedar timbers. Each story of the complex was 7.5 feet high. Then the Lord gave this message to Solomon. Concerning this temple you are building, if you keep all my decrees and regulations and obey all my commands, I will fulfill through you the promise I made to your father David. I will live among the Israelites and will never abandon my people of Israel. The next section is verse 14, talking about the temple's interior. Oh, look, this one's got a nice picture of an interior. It's not very clear. I wonder is there a more clear one? I think this is as good as it gets. Yeah, it's still pretty. It's still pretty blurry, but that's as good as I can get right there. Yeah, there's that empty space in the middle. That's what I figured. All the rooms were built on the outside of the walls like that, and then there's an empty space in the middle. Let's see. The temple's interior. So Solomon finished building the temple. The entire inside, from floor to ceiling, was paneled with wood. I just wonder. Oh, yep, that's exactly what I was looking at. Well, that one is on, um, that's somebody's property at YouTube, so I can't use that. But I was wondering if there was a 3D version of it, like a 3D version of the inside. Oh, this is a nice one. See, I can show a picture, but I don't want to show anybody's YouTube video because I'll get a copyright claim. So we'll just put that one up for now. As I finish reading verse 14 of chapter 6. So Solomon finished building the temple. The entire inside from floor to ceiling was paneled with wood. He paneled the walls and ceilings with cedar, and he used planks of cypress for the floors. He partitioned off an inner sanctuary, the most holy place, at the far end of the temple. It was 30 feet deep and was paneled with cedar from floor to ceiling. The main room of the temple, outside the most holy place, was 60 feet long. Cedar paneling completely covered the stone walls throughout the temple, and the paneling was decorated with carvings of gourds and open flowers. He prepared the inner sanctuary at the far end of the temple where the Ark of the Lord's covenant would be placed. This inner sanctuary was 30 feet long, 30 feet wide, and 30 feet high. He overlaid the inside with solid gold. He also overlaid the altar made of cedar. Then Solomon overlaid the rest of the temple's interior with solid gold, and he made gold chains to protect the entrance to the most holy place. So he finished overlaying the entire temple with gold, including the altar that belonged to the most holy place. He made 2 cherubim of wild olive wood, each 15 feet tall, and placed them in the inner sanctuary. The wingspan of each of the cherubim was 15 feet, each wing being 7.5 feet long. What? Those are some big wings. The 2 cherubim were identical in shape of size, and each was 15 feet tall. I wonder, are there any pictures of those cherubim? Pretty much the same cherubim as the ones from the Ark of the Covenant, I'm assuming. I don't think those are the cherubim. I don't know what that is. Cherubim. What? Maybe. Look, these cherubim look kind of freaky, man. Just a little bit freaky. 2 cherubim guarding the ark. See, now this one here, that's kind of what I was imagining. Something like this. Something more human looking. But it says here, this one says Solomon's cherubim in the first temple. Interesting. If you guys have seen any type of cherubim is associated with Solomon, what do you think they look like? More like this? Or more like, see, even this one, you can see that looks more like Egyptian style. with the animals mixing with the human. That looks more Egyptian style. Very interesting. And those are the ones that were on the Ark of the Covenant. I recognize those from the description in the scripture that they had their wings hovering over the ark. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave it right here while I continue on with chapter 6. And the last thing I said was verse 28. He overlaid the 2 cherubim with gold. He decorated all the walls of the inner sanctuary in the main room with carvings of cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers. He overlaid the floor in both rooms with gold. For the entrance to the inner sanctuary, he made double doors of wild olive wood with 5-sided doorposts. These double doors were decorated with carvings of cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers. The doors, including the decorations of cherubim and palm trees, were overlaid with gold. Then he made 4-sided doorposts of wild olive wood for the entrance of the temple. There were 2 folding doors of cypress wood, and each door was hinged to fold back upon itself. These doors were decorated with carvings of cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers, all overlaid evenly with gold. The walls of the inner courtyard were built so that there was 1 layer of cedar beams between every 3 layers of finished stone. The foundation of the Lord's temple was laid in mid-spring, in the month of Ziv, during the 4th year of Solomon's reign. The entire building was completed in every detail by mid-autumn in the month of Bul, during the 11th year of his reign. So it took 7 years to build the temple. What? 7 years to build a temple? And I thought the construction here on 360 was bad. Whew. Okay, well, let's bring it on back. That's interesting, though. I like looking at these old-timey pictures to see how things used to be. But I am curious, you guys. What do you think? I mean, I'm looking at pictures. I don't know which is which yet, but this is cherubim, obviously. This is cherubim. And then this is cherubim. So which cherubim and what does this signify? Like, what's the symbolism of this? There's a lot of symbolism in the Bible, especially like in Daniel, when Daniel had his dreams and visions, and Revelations, I think, in another book, some other book of some other prophet. But yeah. Let's see, get you back. So that is the end. Is that the end? Yeah, that was the end of chapter 6, actually. Let's see. I didn't know David wrote songs. That's where I left off. Song of Solomon has always been everyone's favorite. Eva Frazier says, listening. The Wiz says, there was some exceptional architecture in those days. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess why would I, if I think about it, why would I trust today's architecture more so than then? Because today's architecture is built upon, time ago. The Greeks and the Romans and even the Egyptian pyramids, they knew something. They knew something we didn't know. Impressive buildings. It's amazing. Interesting how they didn't need school back then. Building a temple. Wow. That was a lot of work. 7 years. 7 years and all done by hand. All right, that is the reading for today. I don't think I've got anything else going on. We've been at it for about 57 minutes now. I'm so proud of myself. I stayed on task. I didn't get too far off the rails. Cyprus. I'm gonna look up one thing. I'm gonna look up something on cherubim because I'm curious. I don't know if it'll be in here, but let's find out. Cherubim. Let's find out about the cherubim from the Nelson's Compact Series. Because I'm really curious, like, why do they look a certain way? Cherubim are winged angelic beings often associated with worship and praise of God. The cherubim, okay, let me back up because I feel like I went over that too fast. Winged angelic beings often associated with worship, and praise of God. Now, when I see little cherubims on my Hallmark card or on some kind of decoration, I think I've even got a. Hold that thought. I think I've even got some type of artwork thing of cherubim in my kid's bathroom. And I don't think I was actually, like, I'm not used to seeing them in terms of praise and worship. It's just kind of like these cute little baby angel things, right? What do you think cherubim are? What's your association? Let me know while I'm going to go get this picture. Tell me, what is your association when you think of cherubim? Cherubim. I'm thinking like Cupid, and I probably am all messed up with my understanding of cherubim, but hold that thought. Actually, you tell me your thoughts about what do you think cherubim are, and I'm going to go get that picture. Ow! There's a wall there, Katie. Watch out. I had this for a long time. I got this when I used to live in Bedford. And I think I picked it up at the Salvation Army for $2.75. Yep. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. All right. You guys have seen this before. You're familiar with this particular one. I think there's a famous painter that made these. There's a couple of memes that have gone around with these, but this is a famous painting. This is actually from my kids. Well, they're not kids anymore, but my guest bathroom. To me, that's what cherubim are, right? Little baby angels or little childlike angels. And of course, when it comes to art, art is man's expression of the world around him. It's not always historically accurate, but art is man's interpretation and man's understanding of the world around him. And so when you see these cherubim, they just look kind of like, oh, la, la, da, da, da. I don't know. Like I don't know what the artist was trying to convey with that, but that's what I grew up thinking cherubim were. So I'm gonna see if I can put this up here. See if I can kind of keep this. Got my water. Love my water. It's not Ozarka today. It's actually Crystal Geyser. So I'm just gonna tilt that like so. And you guys, as I'm reading this dictionary form of cherubim, you let me know if this sounds like what I'm describing here in my Nelson's Compact Series dictionary. Cherubim are winged angelic beings often associated with worship and praise of God. The cherubim are first mentioned in the Bible in Genesis 3:24. When God drove Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, he placed cherubim at the east of the garden and a flaming sword which turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life. They were similar in appearance to the statues of the winged sphinxes that flanked the entrances to palaces and temples in ancient Babylonia and Assyria. Ah, you see that? So there is no flaming sword here. They don't look like sphinxes. They look like baby angels to me. But again, this is an artist's representation of some type of angelic beings. But I'm just pay attention to the description as I'm reading it. And according to this dictionary, it says they were similar in appearance to the statues of the winged sphinxes. So those other pictures that I showed you on the screen share, that's actually more accurate of a cherubim. I did not know that. That flanked the entrances to the palaces and temples in ancient Babylonia and Assyria. Symbolic representations of cherubim were used in the tabernacle in the wilderness. Two cherubim made of gold were stationed at the two ends of the mercy seat, above the Ark of the Covenant in the Most High Place. And you can read more about this in Exodus 25, 17 through 22, 1 Chronicles 28 and 18, and Hebrews 9 and 5. Artistic designs of cherubim decorated the tent curtains and the veil of the tabernacle. When Solomon built the temple, he ordered that two cherubim be made of olive wood and overlaid with gold. Each measured 10 cubits, which is about 15 feet or 4.6 meters high, with a wing spread of 10 cubits. And that is what we are reading right now in 1 Kings 6 and 23. These gigantic cherubim were placed inside the inner sanctuary or in the most holy place in the temple. Their wings were spread over the Ark of the Covenant. These little wings, what's these wings gonna do? That don't even look like it's big enough to help them fly. Them some little bitty old wings. I think this is just for artistic representation. Their wings were spread over the Ark of the Covenant. Cherubim functioned as the armrests of the throne of the invisible Lord God of Israel, the true ruler and king of his people. The woodwork throughout the temple was decorated with engraved figures of cherubim. A careful comparison of the first and 10th chapters of the book of Ezekiel shows clearly that the four living creatures were the same beings as the cherubim. Each had four faces, that of a man, a lion, an ox, and an eagle. And this is referring to Ezekiel 1 and 10 and 10 and 14. And each had four wings. In their appearance, the cherubim had the likeness of a man. These cherubim used two of their wings for flying and the other two for covering their bodies. Under their wings, the cherubim appeared to have the form or likeness of a man's hand. The imagery of Revelation, chapter 4, 6 through 9, seem to be inspired at least in part by the prophecies of Ezekiel. The four living creatures described here, as well as the cherubim of Ezekiel, serve the purpose of magnifying the holiness and power of God. See, these right here, they're cute, but nothing in this picture, from what I can see, nothing in this picture is really like, oh, praise the Lord is holy, the Lord is great, the Lord is mighty. Like, they just look kind of like melancholy, don't they? Like, I'm curious. When the artist who made this, what was the purpose of this art? Because all art has purpose. All art is meant to express some type of meaning, convey a message. What was the artist's purpose in making these angels look in this particular way? From the looks on their faces, their body language, the proportions of their body to their wings and all that. What was the purpose? And if you know who this artist is, tell me. I think I know who it is, but I'm going to look it up real quick. There's just a little bit left of this dictionary definition. We're talking about the cherubim in Revelations right now. The imagery of Revelation 4, 6 through 9 seems to be inspired at least in part by the prophecies of Ezekiel. The four living creatures described here, as well as the cherubim, serve the purpose of magnifying the holiness and power of God. This is one of their main responsibilities throughout the Bible. Y'all heard that, right? The purpose of cherubim, the main purpose is to magnify the holiness and power of God. Not to drop off Christmas presents and shoot arrows at people and make them fall in love. Oh, so much stuff is twisted nowadays. In addition to singing God's praises, they also serve as a visible reminder of the majesty and glory of God and his abiding presence with his people. In some ways, the cherubim were similar to the seraphim, another form of angelic being mentioned in the Bible. Both were winged beings and both surrounded God on his throne. But the seraphim of the prophet Isaiah's vision were vocal in their praise of God, singing, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts." Nowhere else in the Bible do the seraphim break forth in such exuberant praise. They apparently played a quieter, more restrained role in worship. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is cherubim with a little bit information on the seraphim according to the Compact Bible Dictionary. I'm giving you guys some homework. I don't know if it will apply to tomorrow's reading, but I want to give you guys some homework. And I want you to come back tomorrow and tell me about it. Look up on your mobile device, because that's what we all study with nowadays. Look up on your mobile device the different types of angels and their purposes. And then you can either leave what you find, whatever you find. Tell me about it in the comment section, or we can start off the conversation tomorrow. Because tomorrow I try to do the same thing. I start off, I tell you guys the date and the time, I say hello, I do a recap, and I do some other stuff. So while I'm doing all that preliminary stuff tomorrow morning, come back tomorrow and tell me what you found out about angels, the types of angels. Like, do some actual research. Do about, 10, 15 minutes worth. You can find out a lot in 15 minutes. Don't be like my daughter. She like, oh, I found the answer. And it's the first thing that she came up with. I'm like, yeah, you got to keep looking, keep looking. That's just one source. But yeah. That's your homework for today. Look up the types of angels and their purpose. The types of angels and their purpose. And try to get a reputable source. Oh, yeah. I'm going to look this up too real quick before I let us get on out of here. Because I think I know who that is. I want to say it's Da Vinci. I want to say it's Da Vinci. Let's see. Raphael. I was way off. So now that I know, I'm going to put in Raphael's angels. Raph, R-A-P-H, and then there's that L at the end, so Raphael. I can't remember what part that means, but it's something dealing with God, at least the name. Raphael cherub. Raphael cherubs, also known as cherubs from the Madonna of San Sisto. This masterpiece was created. Ouch. Oh, wow. I don't know what that was. Oh, at one point I glued this to something. I thought I cut my finger, but I didn't. Thank goodness. I just scratched the surface a little bit, but I got some dried up glue because it was actually, I made a project out of it. Anyways, sorry about that. So Raphael cherubs, also known as cherubs from the Madonna of San Sisto. The masterpiece was created by Raphael Sanzio between 1513 and 1514. The two cute cherubs in this painting are quite possibly the most famous angel cherubs ever painted in art's history. Interesting. Yep, so these angels are 500 years old. The Sistine Madonna, also called the Madonna di San Sisto, is an oil painting by the Italian artist Raphael. The painting was commissioned in 1512 by Pope Julius II for the Church of San Sisto, Piacenza. The canvas was one of the last Madonnas painted by Raphael. As early as 1913, Gustave declared that no cherub or group of cherubs. Ooh, do I see some controversy in there? Again, this is one man's interpretation of it. Somebody said something about it. Oh boy. Cherubim, a prominent element within the painting. The winged angels beneath Mary are famous in their own right. As early as 1913, Gustav Kolb declared that no cherub or group of cherubs is so famous as the two that lean on the altar. Oh, they're leaning on an altar. See? That's hard to tell from this little snippet. So this is taken from an actual, this is a smaller piece of a bigger portrait. Okay, I'm getting it. No cherub or group of cherubs is so famous as the two that lean on the altar top, indicated at the very bottom of the picture. Heavily marketed, they have been featured in stamps, postcards, t-shirts, socks, and wrapping paper. These cherubim have inspired legends of their own. According to a 1912 article from magazine, when Raphael was painting the Madonna, that's Jesus' mother, that wasn't her name, but look it up, look it up. When Raphael was painting the Madonna, the children of his model would come in and watch. Struck by their posture as they did, the story goes, he added them to the painting exactly as he saw them. Another story recounted in 1912, St. Nicholas magazine, says that Raphael was inspired by two children he encountered on the street when he saw them looking wistfully into the window of a baker's shop. See, that's human. That's human expression. That's what I'm saying. That was something about them and the way they're looking. It's cute and it's beautiful in its own way, but it definitely doesn't look like praise the Lord is holy, let's magnify him. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just giving an opinion off of what I see. I would never associate that picture with, praise the Lord. It's more like, you know, that's art for you. That is art for you. All right, you guys and gals, it is time to wrap it up. I'm going to do my shout out to Eva Frazier, Nicole, Laverne Dorsey, Life of Key, The Wiz, and Eva Frazier. Did I say that already? Yes. Thank you to my small group of Bible Party followers and to those who come in on the replay and listen and let me know different things and leave different comments. I always appreciate that. I love responding to the comments. I have been getting a little bit behind on my comments lately, so I apologize for that. I like to be right on it, but it's okay. It's okay even if I don't get right on it. A little outro prayer for those people who are in the room and also for those who are listening later on at some point in life. Oh, I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I'm content. I'm blessed. And I pray gratefulness, thankfulness, and blessedness on all of those listening now and later. And I also hope that everyone listening is inspired too, if they're not already doing so, to read a little bit of their Bible every day so they can come to their own understanding, build their own faith and their own relationship with the Lord. That is my prayer. Amen. That's what I got for you. See you guys on the next round.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow me on social media. Now, let me know what you think about this next upcoming video.